as bad as it is, there's actually even a lot more stuff that's even worse. I mean, I'm sure you came across the Army report where they admitted that 98% that are sent to Abu Ghraib were picked up at checkpoints for not having proper papers, and that women were raped in front of their husbands. Did you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's what happened to our lead guy who was murdered. I mean, and it's very much, the reason we know about these stories is because of the incredible people on the ground in Afghanistan working for the papers in America. People like Carl de Gaulle who discovered the Dilawar story.
Tell you what, stay there. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
White House people running it aren't stupid. They're just arrogant and full of bravado, full of hubris. The sin of the gods. And if they're able to get away with torture and creating a constituency for torture and selling us that it's okay, it's over. And now we see police nationwide copycatting. Abuse has gone up in the prisons. Eva, your film really points all this out, that we really have been seduced over to the dark side. I think we're pulling away from it now. That's why I just think this is one of the most powerful films, documentaries I've ever seen, because I think I know it all about this stuff and I'm immersed in it, but I became very upset, and I hardly ever feel almost panicked, but it was just exactly like some of the cell phone video inside the torture facilities, and my God, just seeing it, I mean, it makes movies like Saw or Hostel, that's nothing on the real thing, is it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Another thing that I should mention is, we made this, as I said, we finished it a year ago. When we were making it, when we started it 2.5 years ago, we were so naive. Our biggest concerns were, God, what if it's irrelevant by the time it's ready to come out and be in cinemas? And, when you think about it now, it's more relevant than it ever could have been, and we were so naive and so hopeful. But I do think that this is an incredibly exciting time, this part of the year up until November, and I feel like everyone in the country is outraged. Everyone is furious. It's so great that the film has got an Oscar nomination because that's got an Oscar because it hasn't quite sunk in. Because you know what? A lot more people are going to see the film now. It's still in cinemas. It's going to get a lot more people to see the film. A lot more people will get outraged, and hopefully that will affect the elections later in the year. And also, the other thing you talk about is, just how what's been going on in the country has affected popular culture. And you mentioned 24 earlier in the show, and it's funny, I had never ever watched 24 before we did this film, and there was a weekend and I took home a couple of box sets of the whole series, and I was just, everyone loved this show. This was a huge show. People I knew loved this show, and I watched it, and I was just outraged. And I'm so happy that we used a clip in the film to explain what a ridiculous notion the ticking time bomb scenario is.
Because I've seen it in law enforcement magazines long before 9/11. They were selling police on this, that there's a bomb about to go off. Do you torture the person's child to get answers? And then in 24, they actually have that plot.
I just love it because, again, I've mentioned him already, Clive Stafford-Smith, who's this incredibly UK-based human rights lawyer. He says, and it's so great, as he tells the story in the film, we show the footage on 24, and he says, there's a terrorist he's got a bomb in Times Square, and he's about to kill 1 million people. What do we do? And we've got the guy in custody, so are we allowed to strap the electrodes to his testicles to get him to talk? And we have a scene sort of mimicking that in 24. And then Clive says rightly, well, that's all just fine, but when in the last 500 years have we ever been in a situation where a bomb is about to go off and we have the culprit? And also, if we do, that man or woman is going to be so committed that no matter what we do to them, they're not going to talk. So it's just this pathetic, false way to get around a loophole and make torture a viable option. And it's incredibly evil.
It is. This is such an important film. Can I have you and the director back on before it goes on HBO, maybe for a full hour, Eva?
Absolutely. Alex is a wonderful guy. Once I get back to New York, because I'm still in LA, we could totally work that out. Absolutely. I'd be honored, Alex. I'm a big fan, as you know.
well, Eva, you're a sweetheart, and I'm just so honored to know you, and I'm just honored to be able to interview you. Fire out the official website, because I see several different sites. Which site should people visit?
It's the official website is taxiToTheDarkside.com.
TaxiToTheDarkside.com. We've got a link to that up on Infowars.com. Eva Orner.
And also, I think we're going to be down for South by Southwest because our other film is screening there. So we might be down in Austin in a few weeks.
Oh, I tell you. You know, I rarely want to beg for tickets, but I might even buy a wristband for that one. Well, you know what? I might see you at South by Southwest. Eva Orner.
Yeah, I might be able to get you in, Alex.
Oh, you're too good. Eva Orner, thank you so much for joining us. She just won the Academy Award. She is the producer